Fantastic. Okay. Again, we have some wonderful sponsors. I'm going to flip through Traverse Legal and welcome Aaron Harris.
Hello everyone, thank you for actually allowing me to be here. This is actually really cool. Came here about a month ago and it's just blown away. Just a really cool event. Today, again, my name is Aaron Harris. What we're going to be talking about today is, I've been a software developer for a while. I've been doing it since I was 9 years old. My siblings and I have been doing it, they've been doing it since they were much younger. I actually helped train them. And we've been experimenting with some different things. The latest right now is virtual reality. And we have been blown away by what virtual reality can actually do. So today we're going to be talking about how virtual reality is not just games. We've done a lot of stuff with games. But how virtual reality can change medical, how it can change education, and how it can change for training. Because training is something that a lot of times when you're doing training, you not only get hands-on, well, you can do hands-on virtual reality. So one thing I want to make sure I note here, a lot of these demos we're going to show, we did not produce these. They were very interesting, so that's why we're bringing them to your attention, but we did not produce these. So first of all, I just want to get everybody up to speed on what the latest in virtual reality is. You may have seen, you might have seen the things where you put your phone into little goggles, you kind of look around. That's cool now. The latest in this, though, is mobile. You're able to move around. You're actually able to walk around an environment. You're immersed in it. It's interactive. You can actually physically move your hands around and actually grab objects and move it. So we're not talking about just looking around. You're actually able to actually feel, move, and actually interact with objects. It's also affordable. It costs less than a big screen TV. So this isn't terribly expensive. This is something that can actually be done here and now. And that's the other big thing. You don't have to wait 5 years for this. You can buy this from the Microsoft Store today. Virtual reality is also very real. We've been demoing this for the last month now, and in this demo right here, you have a 100-foot blue whale come at you. People are not expecting the scale. Everything is to scale. It is very accurate. So we've had kids, they'll just tear the headset off because they're so afraid of what they're looking at. So again, it's not just looking at a computer screen, it's not a video game, it's very real. And this is very important because your brain is saying, I have experienced this, I have actually been here. Again, medical, training, education, it's very, very important. A great example in this is I'm big into Flight Simulator, I've done it since I was a kid, and a huge difference in virtual reality is I am actually physically moving the throttle. I'm leaning over, I'm actually figuring out where everything is in the aircraft. I've been able to, I'm to the point now, I'm comfortable enough, I could fly P-51 out of Cherry Capital right now, and I learned this at home in my sweatpants. This only took me a few hours, so, wow. This is another great example. This is by Ornox Software. Again, we didn't produce this stuff, other people did, but we're just showing you what can be done. They actually produced this for power stations for them to be able to train their crew on how to be able to do emergency shutdown procedures, how to be able to do maintenance, without electrocuting themselves. And again, they're going to get muscle memory, they're going to be able to know where everything is, how to be able to do it. One of my favorite little sayings with this is, show me, or tell me and I'll forget. Show me and I might remember. Involve me and I understand. And that's what virtual reality does. This is another great example. Doctors for longest time, they've had to look at MRI data in a two-dimensional cross-section. Well, a company here, their name is Kecaves. Oh, I screwed up the name. Kecaves. What they did is they took actual patient MRI data, put in virtual reality, so now doctors can blow it up. They can see it like an actual skull. They're not looking at a cross-section. Now they're looking at it, and they can make it the size of the room if they want to. They can identify fractures. They can identify areas, mark it, and all of it is very intuitive. So again, we're talking about powerful tools for doctors, powerful tools for them to make better decisions faster, really. I mean, it should change medical. There's another great example of that. This is, again, in medical, is that Dr. Oz of the TV show, he's actually going into this right now. He's actually making pretty much the Grey's Anatomy of virtual reality. The key difference, though, this is what I love about virtual reality, is that everything's alive. In this case, the clogging of an artery. You can see the actual operation up close and personal. I don't know if you're always going to see that, but it makes a difference. You can see it while the body is alive. You can see how things are actually interacting inside the body. So again, for med students, for patients, they can now understand better what's going on. This is another great thing. This is just purely for education. Experiencing the Apollo moon landing, for example. It's very different. You watch a movie like Apollo 13. It's different when you're riding the rocket and you're actually experiencing that ride up. And I've had people in tears because they're just like, what these men went through. I can't believe it. I can't believe what they did. It's so much different when you're in that stressful 60 seconds of the rocket taking off. and you feel what it's like. You're sitting next to Buzz Aldrin, and you're like, oh wow, I can't believe they did this. It's even scarier when they rocket to the moon and you're in the aircraft, or the spacecraft. So again, this is just tip of the iceberg. I mean, there are thousands of uses for it. I need 2 hours to present it all. And there are so many uses for it. And our biggest trouble right now, people don't know. They don't know what virtual reality can do. It's that new. So again, we have our company right now, we have the tools and the talent to actually be able to produce this kind of content. We're just now trying to kind of connect with actual uses for it, not just games. We're talking about medical, we're talking about technology and education. Is there anybody out there who can think of like, wow, I could use this for hands-on training? So again, VR is here, it's affordable, and we want to make it happen in Traverse City. So thank you very much. Anyone have questions? Any questions? Yes, sir.
How much does it cost to develop, I don't know, 5-10 minutes worth of...
A presentation or something with virtual reality?
Yeah, training.
If you're doing, okay, like a sizzle like that, doing something in 5 minutes, that's far more affordable than an entire experience. I would say if you're just trying to do a 5-minute one, it could be done probably, I would say for less than 10 grand. You could probably do it for less than 10 grand, be able to create a 5-minute experience. It depends on quality versus quantity, all that. Yes?
Is there any technologies coming in the future, or are they here now, where you can, say, scan a room and throw that into a VR system like Oculus or the Vive and send it to someone else who has a set and they're able to experience that right away, or is that technology not here yet?
I don't know if there's any big players. I know one guy, his name I believe is Walk Around. It's either Walk Around or Walk About. I've actually gotten into a beta program for it. I was interested in real estate with virtual reality, and I was looking into that. He actually is making his own software. He's doing a great job with it, where you can take a 360 photo and just immediately sculpt out the room. I actually did it for this opera house here. And I don't know if he's going to head in that direction to make sure you can just transfer it. It's definitely much more possible than, say, LiDAR scans, because you need LiDAR scans to get super accurate. His is much more polygonal, but that's better for, like you say, the Oculus or any lower device. That's something I would actually talk to him about if you look it up and ask him, would he be able to make it something shareable? That makes a lot of sense. Yes?
Can you make a distinction between VR and augmented reality and how you see the applications developing for both?
Pretty much in the next 5 years, what's probably going to be happening is that it's going to be kind of a mix of both. Augmented reality is kind of really going to be the future, just because, like augmented reality, for anybody who doesn't know, augmented reality is where you have like your glasses, which was transparent, but you overlay, like the whale, you overlay that on top, so the whale look like it's in this room. So that ultimately, I think, is where it's going to end up. It's going to end up in that direction, with the ability just to fog the lens if you want, to where you can be more immersed. Virtual reality, like what we just showed right here, is more immersive because you're inside the, you're alone in this world. But augmented reality is probably where medical education, everything is going to go. They're pretty much the same technologies, just see-through or put a shield in front of you. Yes?
So are you actually developing the virtual reality software, or are you marketing product?
Pretty much, we're developing the software for it. The hardware is already done. We didn't make the hardware, and we have a lot of players coming out here for this. We have HTC, that was the company that I was showing here mostly, HTC Vive. You have Oculus, they have their own device. LG just recently announced their own device, and we're going to have a lot more players. Pretty much as many people as you have for phones, for phone companies, is pretty much how many people are going to be making virtual reality devices. We're going to be making the software, so these different experiences you just saw, that's the kind of stuff that we're wanting to get into, and more specifically for medical education and training, because we think that's where this would really help people. Yes, please.
Can you obtain a quality experience from Google Cardboard? Have you messed with that at all?
You can...
Even remotely quality enough, just like as a low entry point for people?
Yes, you can begin with it. It's not the same. The ability to be able to actually walk around is so much different. It changes things, and they've actually done studies on this, because they've done VR before where you have like the, Gear VR or whatever else, and you're able to look around. That's great. But your brain isn't actually, the certain neurons aren't firing. They're normally associated with moving, and that's what HTC, when they did this ability to move around, suddenly now those neurons are firing that are saying that I am actually here. So that's where I'm just saying for training, huge difference.
Sensory.
Yep, it touches a different part of your brain, so it's becoming activated. So
cool.
Are you working on CGI type projects or real-time video as well for VR? And if so, what kind of equipment are you using?
We are not actually doing anything with that in particular. I mean, for virtual reality, you're really limited by polygons. It's going to get better over the years, but yeah, I think like Pixar, for example. You're going to do like Pixar kind of graphics for it. Actual people, is a little bit more difficult when you're trying to project on that. I know a couple companies that have done some great work in that, but I don't know if they're ready for virtual reality. I'm actually going to be reaching out to them because I think that would be better. Recording actual people would be so much better because you have uncanny valley otherwise and people look creepy. Buzz Aldrin looked creepy in that Apollo 13 day sometimes. So. Any other questions? Oh, in the back?
No. What's the most interesting implementation of VR that you've seen so far?
The experience that just, I was like, okay, this is it. This is it. For like, particularly for education. They have one of these little demos here where you go inside the body. And you go inside, you're learning all about the body. You learn about the cell. You go into the cell. You see how DNA is formed. All this stuff, it's great. Then you go out of the cell. And then it's being bombarded by millions of viruses. And then you hear that cell that you just became a part of, you lived inside the cell, you saw it, form DNA. It says that it's going to be defeated by these viruses. And these viruses are the size of boulders, and you're watching that cell that was your home get destroyed. And I'm like, I just empathize with the cell. Oh my God. Okay. This is amazing.